So I'm here asking you all, who wants boring? Nobody likes boring. Boring's no good. You know who's not boring? Nicole Vegas. Nicole Vegas, welcome to a sit down with Johnny Sig. It's an absolute honor to have you here today. A pleasure. I know Nicole Vegas by way of the set of the movie Arena Wars, in which you were doing PR work for? PA work. Tell us about PA work for Arena Wars, if you don't mind.
You have to get the food set up, clean up, whatever is needed of you. So it is the grunt work.
I like how you said clean up, because you were like a mother figure to me. It was the first movie set I was actually on as a guest by way of Eric Roberts, and you were helping me dust off, like I had like dandruff, my eyebrows were messed. You're like typical like mom helping me out, like a lost puppy dog on this thing. And I gravitated towards your energy because you were so nurturing and so kind.
Thank you.
And I think it's excellent that now you're making your own features.
Yes, with Sean C. Phillips.
With Sean C. Phillips.
Yes.
Can we talk about all these features that
Thank
you have?
Thank you so much for having me on for that.
Absolutely.
I feel really excited about it, but at the same time...
Oh, I'm so excited that you're here.
Nervous. I'm nervous too.
What are you nervous for?
Because there's such a process to it. So I had Sean C. Phillips reach out to me less than 2 years in showbiz, and he's like, I want you to be part of this feature that I'm putting together. I said, if you come out to Vegas, I will help you out in every way possible. And he held it to me, every way possible. So that means with the ultra low budget, we're doing the campaigning, we're hiring, we're getting the locations, the crafty, the transportation. I want to give a shout out to Kevin Gregg and Joel Callison that also helped out with the transportation. Kevin Gregg was the one who booked all the rooms for the talents and celebrities with Eric Roberts in there. He had to meet Eric Roberts too. He is phenomenal. I do want to give a shout out to Sean C. Phillips and Ethan Phillips. Sean did the directing, and Ethan and Sean did the writing. It's very creative. I know I can't share everything though. Very creative. Mutants, Hills Have Eyes, Wrong Turn, but more. There's more to it. When you see it, you'll know. But you won't see it right away unless you watch the whole movie.
I cannot wait to see and unpack all these great features that you're a part of, whether now producing and also acting.
I did do acting too, like a supporting role, maybe co-star role. Sean says star, but co-star, supporting role.
So you're wearing a lot of different hats.
Yeah.
Now, I was talking about your background and how I know you as Nicole Vegas. Nicole Butler was born in Buffalo, New York.
That's right, I like
and
that.
And went into the Air Force after high school, right? And then go into law enforcement, help out in community service, wonderful thing that you do, all of that.
All of it.
And now you're in horror features. That's not like your everyday story.
It's like, I gotta laugh. It's quite different career changes. I had more than that, but I won't ever share as much as I'm gonna let you know.
And the horror, the genre, as we spoke about so many times, has all-encompassing to different, feels of emotions. Comedy, it can be very, very funny, sometimes not intentionally, but it works and it results in cult features, which you're now a part of too, with Breen, and now you got this wonderful movie.
For me, I'm very ultra not flirty or anything. I'm very usually professional, blah blah blah. But in showbiz, they are very smoozy. In this film, I think it's a bit pervy. But I like it though. It has comedy in it, and there's some things that.
Can we talk about the feature a little bit? What you can share?
I'm gonna do my best.
How about the cast? Can we talk about your cast?
Oh my gosh! Yes, please. So Tom Arnold,
Eric Roberts, Jenna Jameson.
No, that's Skate to Hell.
Skate to Hell.
That's the second feature that we put together, which will be even more.
Okay. Can't wait to hear about that one too.
Wait till you see.
So you have so much going on. Let me backtrack. So let's go to Desert Fiends. Eric Roberts, Tom Arnold, and Robert Lasardo.
Robert Lasardo, Eileen Dietz, Lisa Wilcox, Michael Pere. There's a whole bunch. Brett Wagner, he's in the Lost Leatherface. He's one of the main characters. Papa. So I always say it like that. Brett Wagner and I were like, yeah, he's Papa. He's a Papa mutant. There's a lot. There's mutants. Joe Gonzalez. I can't say what his one name is yet. Sorry, it has to be hidden. And Jeff Webb and Zach Vasquez. And then there's another one called Mama Teets. I don't want to say the other word. I don't know how to say it. They're very creative, and I like the creativity behind it. I liked Eric Yoder with the death scenes because it's old school. It's not CGI. I mean, it's really blood hitting into your face and stuff like that.
Fascinates me about horror.
And they made chocolate blood. It was so good. I had a cave in my character, so when they shot it in there, I felt like saying, oh, I love chocolate. I didn't know it was chocolate. They should give me a heads up. I wasn't paying attention. stayed in the character, and
So you're eating the blood now in these films. So you're
Yeah.
do they film that and actually use that? Because that's pretty interesting.
Well, they did, because in one of the scenes I encounter one of the mutants and something happens to me, and so the blood does.
So method acting in like real time, right there.
Yeah.
captured on screen.
Without giving it away, I don't want to give away the.
Oh yeah, I
the
don't want to
deaths.
give out
I'm
any spoilers, but
it's fun, and I like about that because Sean will let you also put improv into yours. Yes, you have to follow the lines of what you need for your character, but he also lets you make it into your own, so it's more organic.
Right.
And he's very easygoing with that. So the creativity, like I wanted something to get ripped out, had it happen in Skate to Hell. I wanted Zach Vasquez encounter again. He's never. I had like fake vomit, and then at the end I did have real worms and stuff like in there. 2 people did puke on set. There's a lot of things that happen on set, huh? There's a lot of. I don't know where to go without trying to give it away too much, but isn't it fun to kind of like challenge yourself or be creative? Like they're giving you room to add more to your character. I like those kind of sets where they let me do more.
Absolutely, you have freedom.
Yeah,
freedom.
maybe you'll be able to have that
you
too.
keep mentioning creative, and that's what the vibe I'm getting from you. It's like I feel the creative vibe coming from you. Like I see you light up when you're talking about it. And again, that's what horror is about. Like for me, when I watch the creativity, the costume, the set design, the pieces, you feel the terror. Like I remember like watching Texas Chainsaw Massacre. That guy's like carrying that thing, running down the street. I was scared as hell of that thing when I was a kid.
But not now. Or are you still
Absolutely.
scared? Sorry, I'm gonna throw it out there. I'm like, I'm gonna pull it out. I was getting here. But your name is Johnny. You'd have to be like, here's Johnny.
Here's Johnny.
With the saw.
That movie and Halloween, when that was, I think it was Leatherface, when it cuts his face off. There was one where he stitched a face on. That got me.
It was a Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
That was Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Yeah, that was it. That
you know
was
what
it.
I liked about that one of the scenes, a newer one that came out, but they held up the face that was peeled and you saw it through the camera. I like the different angles of that. I like bringing a different like perception or seeing it in a different way that you normally wouldn't see, because inside the box you only have what your thoughts and creativity is, but when you go outside it and you're meeting other people, it's more. And I'm like, oh my gosh, they'll do a scene. I'm like, what can we make more from that? Like to the point where they're like, because you see a lot already. We see so much. We're exposed to so many different elements globally from our social media.
Yes,
so
we are.
How can you make it more? How can you shock it to the core? So I got 2 people sick on set, like when I did my scene. 2 people, yeah. So I don't know if whatever they do, but it was real. So like, that Drag Me to Hell?
Yeah.
And like how she got puked on by that gypsy lady?
Yes.
Well, I wanted real of it. So I had real. Eric got her, and it was like.
Is this common practice that people use that? Like, do you know?
No.
That's
I just
awesome.
wanted real.
That's groundbreaking.
I haven't seen anybody do it except for Fear Factor. But yeah, so.
Oh yeah, part of my language. That's awesome.
Isn't it? Yeah. Well, I'll share it with you afterwards. But I wanted to step it up.
Yeah.
What can we do as an independent filmmaker to make it more, to make people included, to connect with the community? So you have.
Well, nowadays we have to press the envelope more than ever because everyone's been there, done that, seen that before, right? So that's amazing. I would like to see that. Just knowing that detail and people being engaged with bonus features. I love bonus features on DVDs.
Done that.
When you see the bonus features, you see how things are made, you feel much more connected to it. So knowing that's real, like you tell your friends, like, that girl really had to eat that vomit for the scene. Oh, man.
I didn't swallow it, but they were moving in there. I felt it moving. I'm like, oh my God.
But be around it, right? But be around it even like.
I think I'm going to do that again.
Like just, wow. Let me ask you a question as a filmmaker and a fan of horror. What is too far? Have you ever seen a movie where it's like, I can't, that's too much? Because I've seen movies that push the envelope and I was like, now mind you, I'm a baby when it comes to this stuff. I like it. I like what it does to me. I like flirting with the idea going too far. But I've seen it where it's like.
I haven't had that happen to me yet, but it could be like that. I heard that Alfred Hitchcock had that birds one scene. It was real birds and the lady was
getting her,
very abusive, I heard.
Right.
I don't know.
Because it's real time. It's
I will let you know if I ever come across something that was too far.
So we mentioned the great Mahal brothers earlier, Arena Wars. They have another feature coming up, Alien Horde, which you're also a part of, and directed by Brandon Slagle.
Yeah, Brandon Slagle is really amazing director. I liked how he put together Arena Wars.
Yes.
So Michael and Sonny Mahal cast me in this Alien Horde, so I'm very excited because I know he will bring it. He brought it for that Arena Wars, which made it to that Paramount Plus.
Yeah. Congratulations, fellas. That's amazing. That's very huge. Sonny and Michael, Brandon, congratulations. Everyone involved. John Wells, I know a lot of the cast members. John was also on my show.
And also, they're still campaigning, so check out Alien Horde and hope I get to see you on set next month.
So horror movies, like, it's such an interesting, fascinating genre because it could do so much. It has so many different layers, textures, emotions. It can make you cry, it can make you laugh, it can make you feel everything, afraid, you know, interested, all this stuff. What got you into horror? Is that what captivated you?
Well, I liked it growing up, so Poltergeist was my favorite horror film. Every Friday, my grandpa used to go to Blockbuster, and I'd get Poltergeist. And another note with that, I got to work and meet Oliver Robbins.
Get out of here.
But I like the gore. I like the humor, too. So I don't like strictly horror. I like the horror comedy. That's why I worked with Sean C. Phillips, because I like the funny. Even though it shouldn't be really funny in those circumstances, I enjoy stuff like that. I like the twists and turns and the grossness. And I think one of my favorite scenes, it's going to be Terrifier 2 in the bed scene, where they're skinning the female, which took, I heard, 7 or 9 days, something like that, they were telling me. So I like the art of it. I like the art of the terror too. Like, you know, when you feel scared, you're like, oh my gosh, you can feel it. They really bring you into that, or you wonder if it's going to happen to you. Or the jump scares. Like, there's so many different.
I am so glad that you touched on that,
Yeah.
because the art side of horror films is what makes it. I mean, creepy's creepy, but like if you look at like old album covers, like tying it to music, like my field, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like Iron Maiden, all that kind of stuff. Like they always had an interesting album art, right? So horror films, all the guys that do costume production design, that's an art in itself. Like, I mean, digital
Wardrobe.
creating is wonderful. When we see that nowadays with modern filmmaking, like I saw Transformers, even though that was animated, it's still digital in a lot of ways. But like modern films in general, very digital. But like old school horror, like the Michael Jackson Thriller video even, like from dance choreography to murder scenes, from everything, that was a video. Remember when music actually did that, with tied into art like that? What the fuck happened to that
I'm
part
going
of
to
my
bring something
language?
up now. Oh, no, you made me think
I'm
of
fired
something.
up,
Like,
Nicole.
I know. Don't shake each other here, but
I need a
you
straight
know,
jacket, dude.
Yeah, I know, right? Oh my gosh, so.
Oh,
no, we
Like
can't.
destroying
That's
sets.
all right. We're just going to keep it like this for a second.
Yeah, let me
That's
hold
all right.
them.
No, I'll hold it. So we have Joe Gonzalez. Joe Gonzalez is going to be putting his second, like almost like a short film for his music.
Yeah.
And so it's going to be with a scene of like that ties into Desert Fiends
Mm-hmm.
too. I know. Look at
I'm
this. I
glad you're
know.
on there.
This
You
is
know
my
what?
buddy.
This
my
is
mascot.
this is great product placement. I promise this isn't product placement, but this is good product placement. So let's talk more about Desert Fiends.
So
if you don't
yeah,
mind.
no, but I wanted to share about that.
Okay.
Did you made music then?
Yes,
Would you ever put it in a feature film?
I have once already, called the Macabre, I believe, which was recent.
Macabre?
Macabre.
There you go. Sorry.
Yeah. Corn on the
Tomato,
cob.
tomato.
Corn on the. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. So that's what I'm saying though. So with it's meeting people of like-mindedness, but have different talents or different work ethics that come together. So your music
Yes.
is valued. People with the wardrobe and the arts of like special effects, like we had Eric Yoder and Monique for Sean C. Phillips, and I'm gonna say Ethan Phillips because they work together. They're brothers, just like the Mahal brothers.
Yes.
Yes, they're brothers, and it's the art of it. So it's adding a little bit more, and you're an actor too, because you've been in films. I seen your films. You show me your.
Yeah.
So you have a lot to offer. So it's not like you're like, oh well, I'm just this. No, actually, you're this, this, and this, and that helps tie together of how you're building your fan base and your followers because you have that passion and drive. So when you're like, oh, Nicole's like, oh no, you have so much more. And when you're going to connect with other viewers, and they're going to want to connect with you because they want to be seen and they want to be heard as well, and they have upcoming projects. There's a lot of upcoming projects that are going on. There's ones that are filming next month, like Alien Horde, and then I have Marriage Bites, that's in Alabama. I've never been there, and that's with Ashley Hartgrove. And then in January, Days of the Dead. Have you ever been to a Days of the Dead event out here?
No, I have not. I've been wanting
You
to.
need to.
Yeah.
Maybe.
I need to get
Sorry,
out.
like I've got too much now. I had my drink of energy drink, but I was like, don't drink those anymore. But I do. So Kevin, and I would love for you guys. I would hire you to maybe do interviews there. I have a booth already, which I'll be advertising Desert Fiends too. But then I also have friends, like Brett Wagner.
This is wonderful. Absolutely
Yeah.
wonderful.
There's some good stuff, huh?
I really have great stuff. I
know.
appreciate that.
I know my hand's getting tired now, though.
Oh, here,
No,
yeah,
he's
I
gonna
knocked
sit
that
down.
over.
He's done.
We
He's
could
done.
cut that, Kevin. I'll put this up real quick.
No, we'll just do this.
Okay, great.
Get on your knees. It's going on the knees. Is that okay? We're good. No. We don't have to cut. But no, there's just
No
so
cuts.
much going on. So I know next year is going to be busy as a producer and a main producer. And for perk players and stuff, I want to touch on that too. Some people are like, oh, I don't want to pay for a role. Fine, you can audition and stuff like that too. I hope it goes well for you. But unless you have a following or people want to work with you, that's how that goes. You're going to pay one way or another, just like SAG's like $3,000. And I think it's biannually for the dues. So I got my card, and it was like $250 now. I have to pay at the end of this month, and then another 6 months, I think $250. You know Jimmy Duvall?
Yes, of course.
So I talked to him because I didn't know. He said, oh, Nicole, you should have waited till after October to get. I'm like, well, no one told me. So I think with your show, too, you can share a little bit about good
Yes.
information, how to look out for yourself, how to get involved, too. You don't want to get typecast, right?
That's going to happen with a guy like me. I understand that,
Why?
but I don't want to. I've been because he, Italian Jersey guy, but we'll see what happens. But I definitely have something to add to this, and I think this is relevant to what a lot of actors and musicians go through in modern times: pay to play.
Mm-hmm.
Now, for me, I don't have a problem with this, and I want to tell people why. I want to clarify this, and I think a lot of modern filmmakers will feel really good and confident about me supporting paying to play, because a lot of professionals, such as myself, go to school to get trained in arts, in drumming, okay? Go to colleges for it, become educators, put a lot of money and investment into acting. It's not just like, or being a musician, it's not just like, okay, I want to be in movies, let me on your set. You get on a set, you buy yourself on a set, you get hands-on training, you learn how to handle yourself around professionals, you learn how to see people read and speak lines, cut, copy, paste, do whatever they have to do in production. You learn so much. Your $500 investment, and you get to have your cake and eat it too and be in a film. What's there to think about?
Well,
Like
the thing is,
for people
a lot
to
of
try to
people
pay to play a little
been
bit.
in it a while, so
Yeah.
they feel like they should.
Now, in that case, they shouldn't, right? I feel
If they don't have enough of a name, enough work,
Right.
they're going to need to put themselves out there more.
Yeah.
Then work harder, and they're like, well, I want you to pay me. I said, well, what's your following like? What is it? And if I was a perk on Joseph Kelly's, and 5 was enough. I was like, you are taking me off there. 5 is my limit, because that's a lot of work then. Because when you're having somebody, they're paying to get killed by your act with you, that's then making sure that they are happy with their results too.
Sure.
Not just, there's a lot of layers, isn't there? in
Of course.
showbiz? So yeah, buy your part, but then go to an acting coach. Go to an acting coach. I don't care if you're online or in person. Read your lines. Do a table read. There's ways. So get to work. So people are like, oh, you're doing so much more than me. Get to work. Right? Isn't it the big?
And
Yeah.
you got to invest in yourself and to believe in yourself. And too, it's like, and there are people that do pay their way, and then or just organically
You're
get
gonna
into
pay.
films and features. But they have a following. They have something to bring to the table, or they paid that due to get there. People are showing up a lot nowadays. Just want to get to cut right to the front line, and
no
there's so much
shortcuts.
content.
There's no shortcuts.
Look at all the streaming nowadays. Look how much is being filmed out here in the desert. We see it all the time now.
There's
you
no
know?
shortcuts though to showbiz, and you're going to pay one way. You're going to pay for acting classes or stunts.
You're
or
paying
you're
one
gonna
way
be
or the
in
other.
school.
Paying one way or the other.
You are paying one way or another. So I don't want people thinking like, oh, nothing got handed to me either.
No.
Boy, did I have to, and you had to work.
Yes.
And it's work all the time. And you can take breaks. And sometimes people are like, they question it. Like, is this for me? Because I did. I questioned it. I'm like, oh, I don't know. But then other things opened up. And there's always ways to learn, not just in front, but behind the scenes. There's a lot of moving parts. Sean, on his last set, we did Skate to Hell. Oh, I got to share this.
I can't
too.
wait
Hold
to
on.
talk about
Hold
Skate
on,
to Hell.
hold on. I got to share this. So Eric Yoder made this board. I got one, and so did Sean, but Sean got the other one. So this was a real skateboard one. Skate to Hell was very, it was hard because I was working full time on top of putting something together, which I don't
Is
think
this
I-
your first production, like start to
Second.
finish?
Second one, because Desert Fiends was the first
The
one.
very first, yeah.
And working full time and having a family is very hard. There's no days off. Like I didn't have days off, and recently I finally did because I'm not working full time anymore. I'm so grateful. Like day jobs are not for me. I found that out. Maybe part-time job, but to get on that Skate to Hell, there's a lot of people that came together, and that 9 locations was more. 9 locations for the 2 weeks of filming. I ended up getting Jenna Jameson, which I was really excited for because we never worked with her.
Yeah.
And then we had returns like Eric Roberts.
Yeah.
Eric Roberts, both times on Desert Fiends and also Skate to Hell, he's phenomenal. I like that he was engaging to his fans. Todd Bridges was
Always.
very engaging. Eileen Dietz was very engaging. We had
Robert Caravy, Revenge of the Nerds.
that's right. Really good. There's a whole list of
Yeah.
talents. And then, when there's people that didn't have the opportunity, they do put themselves by getting a perk to work with people. Sometimes you don't know though. Like Jenna was last minute, and Robert was towards the end. You know, like they don't know. We didn't advertise them, so you know, like people are like, oh my gosh. And sometimes it's better so they don't get like starstruck, because when you're on a set, you're a coworker now. You can't be a fan anymore. You have to now be professional. And I know that the talents like to be in like their own separate rooms, so they can go over their lines. But at the very end, you can ask for autographs and pictures, but not beforehand, because I think they get overwhelmed.
Sure.
This guy, I'm gonna throw it out there. People don't know that. But there's a lot of opportunities out there.
Yeah.
Like, you know, I might be working with Chase Dudley on a feature film coming out, and Noel G's coming out here the 10th.
Yeah.
Just letting you know. So I'm going to Freakin' Brothers Haunted Houses.
I saw that.
Maybe
in
on the
your
11th.
upcoming events,
I think I'm going to do that. So if you want to meet people that way, I think it's meeting and collaborating and then supporting each other, and you never know where it goes.
That's exactly what we're trying to do here. What I call it mixed music arts or mixed media arts. You know, music workshop, being all encompassed into production and music lessons and arts and entertainment in the arts and entertainment capital of the world. We're right here filming it every single day, filming this right now. Podcast, everything. And plus you have your podcast still, right?
See how you put me on this? I took a break because I would need a co-host. There's
Yeah.
no way that I can have a studio and then I can't be there, because I'm gone for 2 weeks next month and I'm gone for a couple
Yeah.
days. I can't always be present, so I'm gonna have to have somebody
It's a
if I
lot.
do that. And if I have sponsors, I have to still have it keep going. I don't know how I can do that without somebody else doing that.
Right.
And I think people understand that now. There's only one of me. There's only one of you.
Well, I'm going through
person.
that. It seems like we live very similar lives. I mean, your success has been great, and these great
Thank you.
features coming out that I'm so excited to watch on the screen and see at the
Feels
red
good
carpet.
though, doesn't it? When you do work hard and then
Yeah.
you can see it to fruition, you're like, okay, and people know that I can do the work. It's not
Absolutely.
like saying, oh, I can do this. Usually I'm like, oh, I'll do my best, and if I can do it, then it shows it.
Right.
As a producer, like I didn't know. Everyone's like, yeah, like Lee Wydell, he's from Scream.
Right.
And Brett Wagner, they were like, they backed me up. Like, Nicole, I guess Tom Devlin, they had breakfast with him, and so Tom sent me another message. He goes, Nicole, they're talking about you. I was like, well, I'm glad for good feedback. Thank you.
That's
Yeah,
incredible
yeah.
that you put together a team that you're able to make these features. It's not easy to make a film.
But Sean helped me. Sean had it. I just think that he needed somebody that wasn't going to take from him. I wasn't going to change his script. Him and Ethan Phillips, I didn't want to change anything. I didn't need to be in every scene. I wanted to show that it can be done the right way without somebody trying to sabotage or trying to make it all about them. And once they start doing that, I don't see it happening. But if you can be, everybody gets a little piece.
Yeah.
And support it, I think it's pretty cool. But the rest, I'm like, you'll see when I don't like something. I'm
Yeah.
like, if I start doing this to you, you know that. But yeah, the rest of the stuff, it's just pacing myself. You don't want to get burned out. You can get burned out in showbiz.
Absolutely.
You're touching about loneliness.
Yeah.
You can get lonely too. It's really weird, or you feel isolating because you get too many people around you. It gets.
Well, you mentioned that earlier off camera that when you rise up a little bit, you know, there are things that I call them, they could be wreckers. Some people refer to haters, or just you get overwhelmed.
We didn't even touch that. I forgot about that.
You know, you come up a little
my
bit,
gosh,
and
that's
it's just
important.
like, you know, there's like little obstacles, but the best thing you could always do is just know someone such as yourself, you're always out there for the good, greater cause of what you believe in and for others. What's the first thing that you did when you came here to this interview? You want to talk about me and what I was doing.
I did.
I was like, wow,
I
this
do.
is amazing. But that's your nature. That's just who you really are. And that's an amazing thing to see, because when I did do my notes and research on you, that stood out the most.
See your notes up
Yeah,
there.
there was pages. These are the ones that I wanted to just consolidate down. But you know, the fact that I saw that you went through the different levels of training with the going to the Air Force, you know, and then law enforcement, which is disciplines. There are numerous disciplines. So you show respect in everything. You know, of course, for kindness, and then everything you do with volunteering and for the community, that all ties in. And then now you're bringing that to this field,
I'm excited
which
about that
is
part.
almost unheard of in this industry in a lot of ways. There is a lot of nice people. There's also a lot of bad people. But to see good, genuine people that, like you said, not making it all about yourself, but bringing in, you're talking about your team all the time, not yourself. And you're talking about a feature, your second feature, where you could easily have been in every scene.
It'll be third.
Third.
Because Skate to Hell was the second one I
Right.
put together, but this one will be a sequel, Desert Fiends 2. And we want to, you
Right.
understand, we want to turn it up like
Right.
really, like you thought we're just warming up. You know how you have to warm up and then you're like, all right. And you give I like to give a heads up. I'm a heads up person, like, this is coming. This is what I'm doing.
Yeah.
Either be part of it or don't be a part of it, but I will follow it up. Follow
Yeah.
up and follow through. And in military and law enforcement, it's the 3 C's: contain, control, and communicate. and fair, firm, and consistent. So if somebody is a dirtbag, I usually give them a little time before I blast them, and I do. Yeah, I give a little time, like about a month. Correct yourself, and if you don't correct yourself, this is how it is. But also to like look out for people. So when somebody will like, hey Nicole, what do you think of this? If I don't know, I try to connect them to the people and the resources that do know, because it is. Don't be afraid to speak up. I gotta put it out there. Don't be afraid to speak up, especially on my side. If there's something happening, I don't want it to snowball. Come to me and let me know right away so we can get that taken care of. And I don't want people to be ever afraid. I want them to know that I'm there to help them and to redirect them, but I won't be doing their work for them. A lot of people are like, can you just do this for me? I'm like, I cannot.
Don't mistake the kindness for the weakness. That's what happens a lot. And we're kind people and that can happen. But it's just great to see that in arts and entertainment. Also, I'm involved in the boxing business a little bit.
You are?
You know, with interviewing fighters.
I thought you were going to be like,
oh, no,
yeah.
I would love to at this point. I'm 45 now. Believe me, I fought amateur. I wish I could come back now.
45?
It's actually not that bad.
Because I'm 45 next month. Just letting you know, we are 45. We're embracing this.
Yeah. I tell you what, I mean, you look fantastic first
And
of
so
all.
do you.
See, thank you.
We're bringing the 40s like another
That's
level
right.
there.
It's lifestyle. And I feel great. Every once in a while, it's like the next day over. It's like the day after.
You feel it? Like
if I go hard and like box, like sometimes I go to the Mayweather Boxing Club, and I box over there with Jeff Mayweather, and he trains. He's an animal. He's in his 60s.
He's an animal.
He's so good. And when I throw with this man, he keeps up. He's actually wears me out. And he goes in with other fighters after me, professional fighters, and works mitts all day long.
That's pretty cool.
He's so strong. He's like me, short guy, skinny, but strong, man.
Throw it, and you have that endurance.
Yeah, endurance for days.
Remember said if someone steps in, I'm like, oh no, I'm good now because I'm breakable at this age. We're ready to fuse that. But when I was younger, I'd be like, hey, you want to step to me? You want some of that?
Yeah, bring it on.
Assertive, like,
I wouldn't mess with you nowadays. I seen you with the knives and everything else you got
fake
going
knives.
on.
It's fake knives. Yeah. I gotta tell people, because if I start talking about something in public, especially too, they're like, oh my gosh, you're planning on killing someone. Pretend this is
if we murdered a person this way, going the side way, and jugular hits
actually, you can,
everywhere.
In real life, you can bleed out in less than 3 minutes. I was taught in law enforcement. So be smart. You start seeing something, say something.
So the murder scenes are legit. Then they're pretty good to go my way.
I don't know, because if people don't do their homework, then you can tell when something's not right.
Do you watch a horror movie and be like, that's bullshit? If that person got stabbed that way, they would have bled out that way, or their eye would have popped that way.
I don't know, but in law enforcement, like when someone's arresting somebody or that kind of situation, I know it wasn't trained that way, or I know the proper protocol. Like I was on something and we always had our weapons out. Domestic violence or something like that. In Northtown, it's always up there. It's always, that kind of stuff. But I don't want to be casting soldiers. I was already in the military and I already was a cop. I like other things, challenging. So that clown one was really fun for me. I want something that's fun and challenging, but nothing that I ever did before.
I ask about the eye popping out and like the trajectory of blood splatter or whatever, because I know as a boxer, like a lot of times I watch a movie, we're snobs. That's not how you throw a right hook. That right hook would have knocked him out totally different. A left hook wouldn't have done that. His body would have felt a different way. So you do like actually watch things as an observer and see like legit, but that sells a film better, a feature I would think, when a murder scene is legit.
But like, holding a gun or a weapon, you know how they hold it wrong? I was with somebody, I go, that's wrong. She goes, what's the difference? I said, that looks stupid. And you're I said, I don't have to say anything. I was just casting it. Right. The director should be saying it, and the assistant. Fine, I don't have to say that. I'm looking out for you. You don't realize that that's not done right that way. I don't want to say anything unless, it was really, how when I like, somebody should pose a picture and they're holding it all around. I'm like, oh, that's untrained.
Absolutely. So you were mentioning a lot about like the potential of actors unfortunately getting typecasted and all that. What about with you as a film creator? Do you want to create other outside of horror? Do you want to create movies, comedies? I know you're doing a comedy right now / horror, which I think is fantastic.
Yeah. You know what? The eyeball thing is sticking in my head. I hope Sean and Eric, let's have something with the eyeball flying out. I think we need to do that, because like Evil Dead 2. That's what I'm thinking right now.
Casino, the eye popping out.
I want an eyeball where they get to choke on it.
That's one of those things that you see in a film. It's like, oh my God. You want to see it, but you don't want to see it.
I do want to see it.
But you kind of, I know you do.
I do want to see it.
But I'm a baby when it comes to it. Like, my wife Stephanie, she's always making fun of me. Watch The Hills Have Eyes.
She likes that stuff?
She loves it. Me, I cover up. I'm a little better now, but what was that movie, Hostel? That was a bad one. A lot of eyeballs in that one. Too many eyeballs for me.
Yeah. I don't know. I think if I had the opportunity as somebody that already did a film, I will not dedicate myself to somebody that's never even did a short film. So if they did a feature film, I don't care how bad it is, absolutely, let me see what it's all about. But with Sean, that's why I worked with him side by side every step of the way. All the funding, the locations, the cast, I have to know. We can't put it out there without discussing it because we want to make sure on the spreadsheet that we are within budget.
Yeah.
Very important to have a good budget. I've had people reach out to me though, even in Australia, like, oh, can you help me with this? I go, what have you done? I haven't done anything. You haven't done anything. You haven't even done a short film. Don't ask people for money if you can't show that you can't do anything. And I said, why should I give you money? Tell me why. And they can't tell you why. So just know that. And don't come out of the woodworks all of a sudden, and I can't help. I do redirect them to the Mahal brothers, because I think they pay $700 to share their information on the Indiegogo and stuff like that. So I'm always like, oh, they're good at it, and it's $700. And there you go. And I'm not doing stuff I did do stuff for free, and I do help out people, but to a certain extent, because then you get used. You have to be really, really careful.
You have to be.
I know. I learned that. So you'll see me when I'm like...
Especially with production, especially with, in my field, education, and you just got to know who to work with. It's team and its reputation, and also keeping your word, always keeping a bond, and that's how you establish respect, which is so, it's easy to earn, but hard to, it's easy to burn, hard to earn rather.
But you said these words, it's hard. What makes it hard? Is your hard similar to my hard? What is it? What makes it hard? What makes it hard? I'm going to tell you what makes it hard. You're going to have to learn to volunteer or do a pay-to-play or do student films. You're going to have to get headshots, go to casting directors in your area so at least you can get background or maybe eventually principal work, but in SAG, you have to be SAG. It's very rare that you're ever going to get anything as non-union. They will probably take it away.
Yeah.
I'm going to give you the heads up on this. The meat and potatoes of what I didn't get to have. I would have liked to have that myself, but I didn't know. Get an acting coach, get different acting coaches, get outside your circle, because if you stay in a clique circle, that's as far as you're going to grow. Put yourself out there. And yes, it's going to be uncomfortable, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's not going to feel good at first because you're learning. And learning can be uncomfortable, but then you get it. Practice makes better.
Yes.
Put more tools in your toolbox. You have the music industry, and you did stunts.
Yeah.
And you're an actor, and you're a talk show host. Work hard. Work hard. That's all I got to say.
So coming up in showbiz, the trials and tribulations of such, how was that like for you?
Oh my gosh, so when I first started, I didn't know what I was doing, who I was meeting, or anything like that, and nothing. It was very frustrating, and it felt like Welcome to the Jungle song. I was like, I just didn't know. And there's a process.
Yeah.
Want to share about your process of what you learned, and then how do you want to share with the viewers and stuff like that?
Well, my process of trying to cross over starts when I was like 14.
Oh, you're younger.
Yeah,
Oh,
I was trying to make it in the music biz, of all things, and playing clubs, believe it or not, with my guitar player. Back in the day when we were in high school at 14 years old, playing bars. I got us booked in bars. I always kind of had a gift of the gab a little bit.
You do.
And I got myself in somehow, and to these clubs and networked that way. And for whatever reason, we never broke. I never made it. I got us into clubs, went out to various projects, worked in cinema with movie soundtracks and bands I was in, projects. Kind of had mild success, but then gravitated towards the educational field. But just recently, through way of podcasting, as I was mentioning in the past, met celebrities, said, hey, you have a little something with your personality. I'm like, what are you talking about? I'm just from Jersey. I'm just a Jersey boy. Like, no. You got a personality. You should try acting. You should try talking to people. You're engaging. I was like, well, and I feel very odd talking about this sort of thing. I think you know me well enough at this point to know that people ask about me, I'm like, I like to interview people. I'm kind of like, when it comes to me, I'm like,
I'm going to share something about you.
I get a little funny about that. What's that?
I know, don't get too nervous. So there's a set, when you said you were 14 going to bars playing, so I was like, oh, you didn't follow the rules, did you? So there was a commercial we did, and I think you wandered off at the Allegiant Stadium, and this guy, I got it on video, it's like, you didn't follow the rules.
Me?
I still have it. I got you on there.
Oh my God, that's
and I heard him lecturing you, and I'm like, and then we're like, you didn't follow the rules then? And you didn't follow the rules then? Is that funny though?
This is so meant to be right now. This is so wild.
Why?
Why? I'm going to tell you why. Because I was like that my whole life.
You didn't follow the rules.
Never once. I was always against everything because I was a rebel without a clue. Okay?
Yeah.
Now, ironically enough, the person I was referring to as my guitar player, today's the anniversary of his death, unfortunately. He passed away when we were in high school. He was my guitar player for many years, leading up. Jake Morosi. For 2 years, he was my guitar player, leading up to, unfortunately, he made a bad decision, as we all do as kids. I was with him that night, but I was not with the party that led to doing a bad decision with bad
Yeah,
substances.
yeah.
And so I went to work the next day. I was home early that night 'cause I had work the next day at Dunkin' Donuts. I was a manager in the morning because I always had responsibilities. So even though I was against the grain, because my thing, I didn't want to go to school. I wanted to make money. So Dunkin' Donuts was my job. I was the manager because I always liked to work because I always valued money because
Yeah.
it gets you cool shit. You know, it gets things done.
Oh.
But you know, not to make this about me and long story, but it does tie
but
into
when
that
you
with
talk about
significance.
donuts, I'm actually hungry right now, so he's
Yeah.
killing me here. I'm like, donuts.
I was going to stop on the way. Do you believe the bakery in this parking lot was
I
closed
know,
today?
la la la. I try to eat healthy right now.
Unbelievable.
But I'm sorry about
But
your
yeah,
friends
thank
stuff like
you.
that,
Yes.
and also to hit notes on
And so it ties into
substance
some-
abuse.
Yeah.
I mean, we could do. There's a lot of things now that you have a talk show again. Very important because
Absolutely.
it's sharing your experience or sharing other people's of what happened. Not just substance abuse. There's mental illness.
Yes, there is.
There's other things where health issues. There's so much that goes on. So a lot of layers in life.
Yes, there is.
And you have to choose your hard because everything's freaking hard. People don't think anything's easy because it's freaking hard. Everything's hard. Choose your hard. Marriage is hard. Divorce is hard. Fat is hard. Fit is hard.
You know,
Choose your hard.
You're absolutely correct. I look at when people ask me about drumming and like what I teach, because I teach like very progressive ideas, whether it be jazz, fusion, everything I do is very big, you know. And I explain a lot of these patterns and things I explain out with education as like buying rope at Home Depot when it's all like nice and wound tight, you know, it looks all beautiful.
Yeah.
But then it's like in order, you have to unwind everything to see the structure of your beat. For example, there's a core, a bass drum, a snare drum comes in, then the groove, right? But to get it all together, you have to unwind everything.
Can you
and then
do words with
reconstruct
that?
it and put it all back together again. That's what
Can
rhythm
you
is. It's really
rap or
hard.
anything like that? Can you do beats? What beyond that? Do you sing with it?
I can do whatever you want.
Oh, I don't even know what to do because I'm not talented in that area. I know. Look at that, right? Yeah.
Whatever you want.
I would make it look easy. See this? This is somebody that's not trained. See, look at that. See the train? Untrained. Just know the difference. That's with anything in life.
But like I was saying, it's like getting a piece of rope and then trying to like unwrap it and then wrap it back up. That's what all this is. It's trying to take all those components and put it back together again. It's very hard to be a perfectionist.
There's a process to it.
Process. And also to do it that way, the same way every single time. That's a professional. That's what's really hard. The music biz. You can't play the song that you wrote on the way in when everyone wants to hear your greatest hits.
Yeah, and it's still training because I was in the U2. I was a building security at the Spear, so I was with U2, and they trained for hours on end.
Yeah.
After 30 years, they're still training. In showbiz, people are still taking coaching, acting
Of course.
lessons. 30, 40 years in, they're still training.
Yeah.
So you still have to put money, energy,
Absolutely.
time, and effort into your skills.
There's no doubt.
So
There's
what
no
can
doubt.
you do when someone is in doubt? What do you give when someone's like, man, I'm feeling in doubt? What you know, I've been that way. I just like, you know, I felt it a lot. I'm like, oh, and people are like, oh, no, you're great. I'm like, well, I'm not feeling great today. Everybody goes through it. And that's what I'm saying. So you know when you're going through the crap of things and go through the thick of it. Go through it. My sister-in-law, I want to give a shout out to. Her name's Melissa Nicole Butler. She goes, is the juice worth the squeeze? I don't frickin' know until you know. You don't know until you know.
You
right?
know what? Everyone has a plan until they get hit in the face. That's what Mike Tyson says, right?
That's true.
And life had to hit me in the face to understand what it is that I needed to do as a man, you know, and as a creator, as an individual, as someone that wants to be a positive influence in the community.
Mm-hmm.
You know, someone that wants to inspire people, like to be like, yo, I kind of want to be like that. I want to take a page from that book. If I ever hear anyone say, man, I'm taking a page from that book, that's a high compliment because that means they borrowed something from me. Because I want people to borrow from everyone. Be all encompassing. Be about a little bit about what everyone's about. You know, have a little bit of Kevin in me. Have a little bit of this guy. I mean, if you know, the lit up eyes, and because that means something. You know, it gives a vibe. Give a vibe. You know, show people what you want.
So, but you can't, I don't think, be inspiring until you go through it yourself. Like, you go through that fire, and either it'll break you or it'll make you better. And do you carry that with you? That some people get bitter, they get better. And when you get that squeeze on you, and you will you get focused or will you fold in life? What is it? And sometimes you take breaks because every day you can't be all
I was
peppy.
going to ask you, when
Yeah.
do you know when to take a break?
Your body was my body's like, not happening today. I'm like, well, when you get older, you do get slowed down a little bit. You will feel those aches and pains, not like a 20-year-old. Like, oh, what's it feel like to be 20 again? Because I forgot. They're invincible. They are invincible to a certain degree. I know. I don't know what your wife's name is, but I do want to give Stephanie. I want to give a shout out to my husband Kevin, because without our supporters,
absolutely,
our true love of our life sometimes, because he does make me crazy after 26 years. Without Kevin, I don't think I would have done it, because he is my backbone with pushing it through, and also with Sean C. Phillips, like wanting to be with me in these filmmaking things. So I want to give a very thankful, very, very thankful. I know he won't leave it down now. He'll be like, oh, look at it, rewind it, and keep pointing it out. Don't make me regret saying it in front of everybody, but we have good people in our life.
Absolutely, and that's what it takes.
So,
my wife Stephanie, she's a rock for me. My stepdaughter Ava, my Chihuahua Polly. Do you have any pets?
Not good ones right now. Sorry, throw it out there. I also have a stepson.
Yes.
He's 29. I raised him for 26 years. Well, not fully raised him. Now he's adult. And I have my son that's 23. And then I have my son that's 13. And they're challenging. Kids are challenging. Dogs. Do you have a good dog?
Yes.
Well, lucky
Well,
you.
for us, yeah, she's very protective. She likes us, but Kevin could tell you, she's been seeing Kevin for 10 years.
Oh.
Sometimes she'll tolerate him, but not really too much.
I had the
not
best
anybody.
dog. I had a best dog ever. Guess what? If you have a best dog ever, good luck getting never. Now I have two worst dogs ever. I have to keep them separate. And they're chocolate labs. They're supposed to be good dogs, and they're not. They're not good. I think they're overbreed or something. I'm trying to look into what happened, and I let my husband and kids pick them out. Don't do that. Don't do what I did. You know what? You can learn from other mistakes, and you don't have to. I mean, I'm sharing this information. Yeah. It's another story, though.
Yeah.
Another time. But to get back onto the showbiz and everything like that, you have to have a solid team, good people that are going to back you. And it can't always be when you're up. Of course, when you have everything put together, it's other people that want to jump on that train, like, oh, I want to be part of it. Of course you do, because everything's done for you. All you have to do is show up. But we're always welcoming people, as long as they're learning and they're doing. We also outgrow people. There's going to be things where you're not going to be in the same circle. And you want to be, but you can't, because other things are going on, or they don't support you as much, because for some reason they feel if they do support you and you're doing all this other opportunities, that they're not getting it.
Yeah.
And it's supposed to be a team player. So there's things that happen with other people, like weird insecurities and self-projections. There's a lot of layers to this showbiz. So listen to how people talk to you, how they act around you, how they act around people that you care about. Pay attention.
These are very intelligent words of wisdom.
Yeah.
Absolutely, because every time you're anywhere in life, that should be the case. But in production, big time, word travels extremely fast, and then plus, that's how you get work, or that's how you,
or not get work,
or that's how you don't get work.
Yeah. So,
but being around great people such as yourself, how could people find more information out about you? Let's talk about this.
Just kidding. Nicole Butler Vegas on Facebook, also on IMDb. I guess it's Nicole Butler, but then my professional name is Nicole Vegas. So I got married into this showbiz. It's weird. It's almost like you get married into it.
I'm
like
John Signorella, Johnny Sig, but everyone's been calling me Johnny Sig my whole life, and I forget that I should be just keep it easy for everyone and say Johnny Sig. But opening up a business, I'm like meeting that traffic. Yeah. So in this field, everyone knows me as Johnny Sig. Hey, Johnny Sig. But now I'm professional LinkedIn version all the time. Hello, my name is John Signorella. I'm a music educator. So you almost got to wear different hats, but it's always real with me. I'm always the same guy. You know, I'm PG at work. Whereas here I'm PG-13, you know. Yeah. But it's like, you know, you always got to try to keep true to who you are, and that's the balance. And you're exactly, that's what I love about you. None of this has gone to your head at all, because you never know.
Well, not in a good way, probably. It makes me extra crazy. I gotta share this too.
That's normal though, but that's okay. See how I was not even like deterred from that? I'm like, oh, that's normal, that's fine.
But it's really rough. So, you know, I went into law enforcement, I went into the military, did all this stuff. And I think I have PTSD from showbiz. That's where it's going to do me. And I never felt like I had to talk to somebody. I haven't talked to a counselor, but I think if I had to, it would be for showbiz.
Thank you so much for coming on today, Nicole. It was an absolute honor to have you on. I learned so much, and I'm sure our listeners have as well. And for you guys that just jumped on for the first time, Johnny Sig is Sit Down with Johnny Sig. You can find me on all social platforms at Johnny Sig. Thank you so much for tuning in today.
Thank you.